Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of War. I'm Alex, and today, this is my third time attempting to record this now, but today's episode is about Manfred Albrecht Ferrier von Richthofen, otherwise known as the Red Baron. Um, I'm hoping I pronounced that right, because again, I don't speak I think it's Polish. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into this. Now, stick around because it's going to be a longer episode, so grab yourself some snacks. Anyway, um, again, Red Baron. So he was born May 2nd of 1892 in what is now Krzyżow, Poland. Hoping I'm pronouncing that right. His family then moved to Świdnica, Poland, when he was 4. When he was young, he hunted and rode horses, and he was homeschooled until he was 11. After that, he began cadet training at military school, located in what is now modern-day Legnica, Poland. After that, he completed cadet training at the Grobe Lichterfeld pre. Oh gosh, I should have had translations. Pre. Preibsche Hauptkadetenanstalt in 1909. I'm really hoping I pronounced that right. Anyway, from there, he then joined a light cavalry unit. Um, it was the first Emperor Alexander III of Russia Ulan Regiment, and he was assigned to the 3rd Squadron. And then early World War One. He served as a recon officer until that regiment was then disbanded. At which point, he became a runner. A runner would help deliver messages around trenches and whatnot. They'd be running through trenches, between trenches, whatnot, delivering messages. And he didn't really like this, so he applied for a transfer to the Imperial German Army Air Service. In his transfer request, this is a supposed quote. I have not gone to war in order to collect cheese and eggs, but for another purpose. Which, I think you can agree, pretty good quote right there. He ended up joining the service in the end of May of 1915. From June to August that year, he was a observer in a recon plane over the Eastern Front with the 69th Flying Squadron. And then, oh gosh, not another one, but in August, he transferred to the Brieftaben Abteilung Ostende on the Chamonix front. And this is where he was believed to have shot down his first plane. It was a French plane, but, however, it was not confirmed. So, one day he ended up having a chance meeting with the ace pilot, Oswald Bolk. This caused him to do pilot training in October of 1915. Then he joined the number 2nd Fighter Squadron in March of 1916, flying a Albatross C-3. And initially, he wasn't that great of a pilot. He was a below average pilot, which kind of interesting as he would become, considering his future as a pilot. Uh, April 26th, he shot down his first confirmed plane. It was a French plane over Verdun. Um, a week later, he had the brilliant idea of flying through a thunderstorm when he was told not to do that. Needless to say, he decided he wasn't going to do that anymore. And then he met Balk again, and then in August of 1916, and was invited to join his squadron, Jasta 2. Um, his first confirmed victory was September 17th in 1916. Um, he had a jeweler in Berlin engrave a silver cup with the date and type of enemy aircraft. And then he would proceed to do this another 59 times and would continue to do so. However, Germany didn't have enough silver due to Allied blockades, and as such, he decided to stop rather than use lower quality metal. November 23rd of 1916, he shot down British ace Major Lano Hawkers, his DH-2, while flying his Albatross D2. He decided after this that he needed a more agile fighter, so he switched to the Albatross D3 in January of 1917. Now, he shot down 2 planes before then. His plane suffered some damages, and as such, he couldn't fly anymore. Because of that, he then spent the next 5 weeks flying the Albatross D2 or the Halberstadt D3. On March 6th, the Halberstadt, he was flying, its fuel tank was hit, but he managed to land it without catching fire. March 9th, then he got a victory with his Albatross D2. The Albatross D3 was continuing to be grounded for the rest of that month, so he then switched back to the Halberstadt D2. April 2nd, 1917, he returned to his Albatross D3 and then proceeded to get 22 more victories before switching planes yet again to the Albatross D5 in late June. And then, and when you think of the Red Baron, you commonly think of, red triplane. All these other planes have been biplanes. He wouldn't fly a triplane until August of 1917, when he flew the Fokker DR1 triplane. And even then, he didn't use it exclusively until November, when the wings had been strengthened. And of the 80 total kills that the Red Baron would get, only 19 of them were with his triplane. His Albatross D3 was actually the original plane that was painted red. He helped to develop the Fokker D7 by suggesting ways to improve German planes from all of his experience in flying. He received the Pour le Mérite in 1917 after his 16th kill, and that was the, at the time, highest military honor in Germany. He also then took command of Jasta 11, which is when he painted his plane red. Other members then also painted their planes red. One time when he was home on leave, his mother asked him why he risked his life every day, and he said, quote, "For the man in the trenches, I want to ease his hard lot in life by keeping the enemy flyers away from him." Which, it's a pretty honorable reason to be doing it. To protect the ground forces. Let's see here. July 6th of 1917, he would receive a head wound that left him partially blind. However, he decided that it was just tis but a flesh wound, and against doctor's orders, returned to service on July 25th. However, because he went back to flying when he was told not to, his injury was still bothering him, so he ended up taking leave from September 5th until October 23rd. Alright. On April 21st of 1918, Red Baron was flying over Moorland Court Ridge near the Somme River. He was pursuing the Canadian pilot Wilfrid Reed May because he'd opened fire on his can't remember if it was brother or cousin, but May had fired on him, and Red Baron went and pursued him in retaliation for that. During this chase, he would be hit in the chest with a .303 bullet, which was most likely fired from an Australian anti-aircraft gun, as they are the ones who were defending the area in which he was flying. He then crashed north of the village of Vaux-sur-Somme, and that was it. The Red Baron was no longer. The Red Baron was no more. And now, who actually killed the Red Baron? Who actually shot him down? It's a widely debated thing because no one knows truly who it was that did shoot him down. There have been multiple theories, but most of them were all disproven because of the angles that from the angle he was hit from, which is why I'm pretty sure that it was from a anti-aircraft gun and not from aerial combat. Although several people have been awarded for being the one to shoot down the Red Baron, although it's not confirmed whether or not they did. But yeah, that's the story of the Red Baron. I'm realizing that this wasn't actually as long as I thought it was going to be. Huh. Must have been talking fast. But anyway, that about covers it for the story of the Red Baron. Bit of a fun fact in what's the term called? I can't think of it. See, the reason I can't think of the term is because I don't pay attention to it. Pop culture, there we go. The band Sabaton, I've mentioned them plenty of times before, in previous episodes. They actually wrote a song about the Red Baron. So, should check that out. I highly recommend it. Even if power metal music's not your forte. But, yeah. That's all for this episode. You enjoyed it on YouTube and you enjoyed it, like it. Also, if you enjoyed it, actually, I think you can like it on both places. But anyway, yeah. Also, I didn't know this until 2 weeks ago, ish. But these episodes are also on Spotify because I upload these to both YouTube and SoundCloud. However, our SoundCloud apparently auto uploads to Spotify, so you can also just find my podcasts on Spotify as well if you're tuning in from the SoundCloud. Should probably be by the same name as the SoundCloud. I don't really know though. But anyway, again, if you enjoyed, like this episode, share it with people, stuff like that. Also, some other announcements. At some point in the future, I will be starting just a normal history podcast. It probably will not be. I don't know if it'll be as regular as this episode, as this podcast or not, or if I'll continue to do weekly episodes for this podcast. I might switch back and forth each week. I don't know yet because I'm still planning for said history podcast. But it's planned. So, maybe so you can keep a lookout for that. I'll probably mention something that in fact I probably won't even make a different YouTube channel for. No, I probably will. Anyway, just make sure stay tuned for that. I'll announce it once it's underway. Once there is the first episode. Um, but anyway, again, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to, get announcements on when stuff happens, check out Official Chronicles of War Twitter. It's at Chronicles OFF 44. Um, I whenever I upload an episode, post the links there. Um, you know, things like that. And also on there, if you check out my pinned comment, I have my pinned comment. You can message me. You can comment on it and be like, "Hey, I want you to cover event XYZ." And I'll look into it. Now, I do have several episodes that are already planned out, but most of them are not set in stone that I'm going to do them in any specific order, so you can still submit ideas. Um, just as long as they're about military history. And with that, that's all I got for you this week. I really apologize this episode's going out so late because I had the audio got corrupted twice in my last two recordings I had. So unfortunately didn't. Well, actually the video got corrupted on the second attempt. So hopefully, as the saying goes, third time's the charm, and this one works. So if you're hearing this, you know it did. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in, and make sure you tune in next week.